Imagine pulling your family station wagon into a brilliantly lit gas station. The neon glow of a Sinclair dinosaur or a Texaco star shines overhead. You roll down your window as a smiling, uniformed attendant jogs up to your vehicle, ready to provide a level of customer care that a modern driver couldn't comprehend. Here are 10 gas station services that no longer exist. Long before electronic motion sensors or door chimes, your arrival at a gas station was announced by one of the most iconic sounds of the 20th century, the driveway bell. Gas stations laid a thin black pneumatic rubber hose across the concrete pump islands. When your heavy car tires rolled over this hose, it sent a burst of compressed air into a switch located inside the station's garage. This triggered a crisp, loud, mechanical ding-ding that echoed across the asphalt. It was the ultimate signal of hospitality, letting the attendants know a customer had arrived so they could drop their wrenches and hustle out to the pumps. For kids sitting in the back seat, begging their parents to slowly roll over the hose to make it ring twice was a quintessential road trip pastime. Today, with self-service being the norm, there is no need to alert the staff of your arrival, and that cheerful mechanical greeting has been silenced forever. The very concept of a filling station implied that someone was going to fill your car for you. Gas station attendants in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s were the face of the brand, and they dressed the part. Companies like Gulf, Mobil, and Standard Oil required their attendants to wear pristine matching uniforms. This often included a sharply pressed button-down shirt with an embroidered name patch, matching trousers, a clip-on bow tie, and a Garrison-style peak cap. These men didn't just casually stroll to your car. They were trained to hustle, greet the driver with a polite, "Fill her up, regular or Ethel," and handle the heavy metal gas nozzles with practiced efficiency. They were the ambassadors of the road, offering a friendly chat, weather updates, or local directions while the mechanical numbers on the pump spun around. When you bought gas in the golden era, you were purchasing peace of mind. As the fuel pumped, the attendant wouldn't just stand there waiting. They would immediately ask, "Check the oil for you, sir?" Upon your nod, they would pop the heavy steel hood of your vehicle, pull out a grease-stained rag from their back pocket, and expertly check your engine oil dipstick. They would hold it up to the light to show you the level and the clarity, but they didn't stop there. A good attendant would inspect the radiator water level, check the transmission fluid, and eyeball your fan belts to make sure nothing was fraying. It was an era of preventive maintenance that came absolutely free with the price of a tank of gas, saving countless drivers from suffering a breakdown on a lonely stretch of highway. Highway driving in the mid-20th century meant accumulating a massive amount of bug splatters, dust, and road grime on your flat glass windshields. You didn't have to rely on a dirty, stagnant bucket of blue water to clean it yourself. The attendant always carried a spray bottle of glass cleaner and a professional-grade squeegee. While the oil was being checked and the gas was pumping, another attendant, or the same one moving with incredible speed, would spray down your front and rear windshields, wiping them crystal clear. They would even wipe off your headlights and taillights to ensure you were safe for night driving. This complimentary service ensured that every time you left a station, your visibility was perfectly restored without you ever having to lift a finger. Before GPS satellites, smartphones, and Google Maps, finding your way across the country required a paper map, and the absolute best place to get one was the local gas station. Massive, colorful metal racks stood inside the station or right next to the pumps, holding hundreds of meticulously folded maps. Sponsored by the oil companies themselves, these maps covered the local city, the current state, and the entire United States. They were beautiful, detailed pieces of cartography, and the best part was that they were completely free. You could ask the attendant to help you chart a route to a distant relative's house, and they would trace the best highways with a pen. Of course, the ultimate challenge for any dad was trying to refold the map along its original creases once the trip was over, a nearly impossible feat. Customer loyalty in the mid-century wasn't tracked by a digital app on your phone. It was built on trading stamps. The most famous of these were S&H Green Stamps. When you paid for your gas, the attendant would hand you a perforated sheet of little green stamps based on how much money you spent. Families would take these home, lick the backs, and carefully paste them into dedicated collector booklets. Once you filled enough booklets, you could take them to a local redemption center or order out of a massive catalog. Families furnished their homes with items acquired solely through buying gas and groceries. You could trade your stamps in for toasters, sets of fine china, sleeping bags, or even a new television. It made buying gas feel like an investment in your household. If stamps weren't enough to secure your loyalty, gas stations engaged in massive promotional wars, giving away high-quality physical items just for filling your tank. In the 1960s and 70s, it was incredibly common to receive a free piece of glassware with a fill-up. Families collected entire sets of NFL team tumblers, Looney Tunes drinking glasses, or elegant frosted pitchers, 1 week at a time. Esso, which later became Exxon, famously gave out fuzzy tiger tails that you could tie to your gas cap or radio antenna to show you had put a tiger in your tank. There were also giveaways of steak knives, plastic dinosaur toys at Sinclair, and the famous Hess toy trucks during the holidays. Today, the closest thing to a giveaway at a gas station is a receipt you didn't ask for. Maintaining proper tire pressure was a constant chore, and gas stations provided the tools for free. Every station had a dedicated air hose island, usually featuring an incredible cast-iron air meter where you used a hand crank to set your desired PSI before filling the tire. There were no credit card slots, no digital screens, and definitely no $2 fees just to turn the machine on. It was considered a basic necessity of driving, and the stations provided it as a public service. Right next to the air hose, you would almost always find a galvanized steel watering can with a long, flexible spout. This was kept full of water so drivers could easily top off their boiling, steaming radiators after a long, hot drive. The term gas station is actually a modern simplification. They used to be known as service stations. When you pulled into a station in the 1960s, you weren't pulling up to a megamart that sold roller hot dogs and energy drinks. You were pulling up to a functional garage. Most stations featured 2 large bays with heavy-duty hydraulic lifts. You could smell the distinct aroma of grease, rubber, and solvent in the air. These stations were staffed by real, blue-collar mechanics who could rebuild a carburetor, patch a punctured tire, replace a muffler, or do a full brake job. If your car started making a funny noise on a road trip, you could pull into the next town service station and have a professional diagnose and fix the problem right on the spot. Perhaps the most shocking vanishing feature to modern drivers is the element of trust. Today, the pump won't even dispense a single drop of fuel until you have prepaid with cash or authorized a credit card. But in a golden age, you pumped first and paid later. After the attendant finished filling your tank, cleaning your windows, and checking your oil, he would walk up to your window and tell you the total, usually something like $3.40 for a completely full tank. You would hand him a $5 bill, and he would make change right there at your window using a metal coin dispenser clipped to his heavy leather belt. If it was a self-service station in the later years, you simply pumped your gas, walked inside, and handed the cashier your money. It was a system built entirely on neighborhood trust. So, if you could bring back one of these classic gas station services, what would it be? Drop a comment down below to tell us your choice.